Hello, everybody. Welcome. Myself, Lahari Pakalapati, and we have Preeti here, and we do have Frinzi as well. Preeti and I, we are co-leads for this Women in AI Canada Hackathon 2025, and we are very much excited for our second technical workshop today. And part of our this hackathon series, today's session runs from 12 p.m. to 12:45, and then which is followed by mentor session from 12:45 to 1:30. And I just want to thank you all for being here, like for this part of this meaningful initiative we just brought up. And if you have any questions during the hackathon, like feel free to reach us at the given hackathon email. And please make sure like you have joined our Discord channel as well for all the communications and the updates. And yeah, to quickly share about our Canadian chapter, we have, the Way Canada launched in 2020, and now like we have span of like 80 cities with over 60 volunteers altogether, and we do have 15K plus followers and 100K events. And we do have connected 10K plus attendees and also supported almost like 300K hackers so far, and even the mentees and the role models as well. So like all these driving inclusive AI growth across the Canada. And then we have these programs, like we do focus on three pillars: inspire, educate, and connect. So today's workshop falls under the educate pillar through Women in AI Canada Hackathon. So helping you turn your ideas into applied AI solutions. And coming to our hackathon, like about this event, so this runs from October 6th to November 7th. So here we're bringing together diverse talents to solve real world problems using AI. And here participants, we wish like you all to collaborate as a micro teams supported by mentors and the workshops as well going forward. Here our motive is to develop to develop the concepts or prototypes with the social impact. And also just to mention here, Women in AI Canada is now like we do have over 1400 plus like members across the nationwide. And our mission is to close the gender gap here in AI by educating and empowering the next generation of women leaders. And coming to the hackathon schedule, so as a quick reminder, here is our overall schedule. Uh, like you can see here, like where we are today is October 10th, our current workshop on validating AI ideas, and then followed by we have a mentoring session. So, and also we do have a final showcase that happens on November 7th. And now let's come to the exciting part. So here, like this is our main highlight today. So I am very much thrilled to introduce today's speaker, Jen Taurand. She's AI team lead at Vooban. So here, her session will be covering about validating your AI hackathon idea for real world adoption. So like she'll help you evaluate whether your project truly solves a problem and is ready for real world impact. And I just want to take a moment to introduce Jen's background here. So Jen holds a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and master's in optics. Also, she started as a sensing specialist at first. Later, she worked at the Allworks on ML and IoT, and at Bentley on applied AI for construction and infrastructure. Also, she was recognized as Women in AI North America Award finalist in 2023 and Women in Tech Best Ally finalist in 2025. And now, like she's at Vooban, so she's working as, she leads a team of AI scientists there, like building solutions that accelerate digital transformation. I'm really overwhelmed reading her bio here. So please join me in welcoming Jen here. Let's all of us welcome her.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited to be here today with you. I'll be sharing my screen if I know how to do it on Zoom. Hold on, share here. And let me know if you see the screen. You should be able to see it. And I'm gonna keep looking at the, I do want to see the chat here because I want to make this interactive. Sorry, I'm just looking for the chat. 1 minute, please. Where's the chat? I had it earlier. Sorry about, oh, it's here. Is it? Okay, never mind. I'll try to find it later on. Let's get on with the presentation because I have lots to cover, and I want to make sure we have time for questions. So again, I've been a project manager in my career. I've also been a product manager, and these are two things that are different. They do sound the same, but they're both PMs, but they're different. So today I want to make sure that you learn about the difference between the two of them. Please feel free to turn on your cameras. I love seeing your faces. This is a space where I want us to all get together, learn. So please make sure that if you are comfortable putting your camera on, please put it on. And if you're eating, it's fine. I don't mind seeing people eating as well. This will be an interactive session. Please take the time to write in the chat, which I found. So I'll see all your messages. So please write in the chat and also use the emojis when necessary. Is everybody ready? I hope so. Do you see? Oops, sorry. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about me because that's not really interesting. What's really interesting is more about what we're going to learn today. So what is it you like? So use emojis. Do you prefer building cool stuff or building something useful? So I see some hearts here. I see some thumbs up. Useful. Thumbs up here. Okay, I think we're more into the useful category. And this is where really the project both, when somebody says both, and that's really important. So this is where we see the difference between project management, which is very important as well. It's to know, so project managers will know what to build exactly. Like they exactly know where they're going, but their success is driven by is it delivered on time or is it delivered on budget, right? On the other side, sorry, this is what happens when you try a new platform before you actually have it. Here you go. Oops, sorry. I went too fast. Okay, so a product manager needs to determine what to build, right? So this is the key difference. They don't know what to build, and their success is evaluated on did it solve the real problem, or did it create value, right? So this is a different mindset between the both, but you need both to have a successful project. So a good example of something that was built that was very cool, but didn't really answer any needs is sorry. Hold on. I'm really having trouble here with the slides. Is the Google Glass. So have you ever heard of the Google Glass? This was launched around 2013. It was pretty cool. Like the technology behind it was really cool. It was the VR version of a glass and you could wear it, you could record it, and there was an AI integrated, but it kind of failed. Nobody really bought into it because it didn't really answer any needs. And the way it was built was kind of like technology was really fun, but the way it was built was a little clunky. People didn't really see what it was for. So it kind of busted. So how do you make sure you build something that people actually want, right? And it first comes with asking the right questions. And this is where the book Mom Test by Rob Fitzpatrick fits in. And it tells you how to better ask questions to validate that you actually solve a problem and note questions that flatter your solution, right? So examples here would be, hey, would you use an app that's to store and share your recipes, right? And then the book is called the Mom Test because the writer says, I would ask my mom, and my mom doesn't want to hurt my feelings. And the mom would say, yeah, sure, I would use an app to store and share your recipes. But would she actually use it, right? And this is where you have to ask other questions. This is a very solution-oriented question where you should be asking questions like, whoops, sorry again. I'm sorry, I'm really struggling with the slides here, sorry. Hold on. That's not what I want. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, so questions like, when was the, oh, sorry. Again, I'm having trouble here. Okay, so questions like, tell me about the last time you cooked at home. So really going into the, how do you do your things? What are the pain points? How did you decide what to cook? Was it because of the things that were in the fridge? Was it because of the what you felt like? Was it something you saw on TV and you wanted to reproduce? How are you getting that information? Have you ever lost a recipe? Is that a pain point for you? So asking these questions, instead of saying, would you use an app? That makes your questions much more relevant, because then you're solving a problem and you're not selling an app, right? And it's harder to, your mom is not going to try to protect your feelings if you're asking these questions about how she's doing things. So for example, let's say we're building an app, an AI app that would summarize all your Zoom meetings, right? If you ask that question, it's pretty broad. It doesn't tell you what you should focus on, right? So you should ask questions like, when was the last time you missed something important in a meeting? And then you get into the story of what happened and why it's happening. Same thing. How do you currently keep track of all the action items for a long call? So then you're honing in on the problem rather than the solution, which will help you then build the solution, right? Because you want to make sure that you build something that's valuable. And this is where there's another book called Inspired by Marty Kagan. This is the Bible for all product managers. If you're into that, you should definitely read it. But addresses how to build products by validating 4 things: the value, the usability, the feasibility, and the viability before you even start programming, right? So the first thing that you want to make sure to check is value. Will somebody use it? And this is where the questions from the mom test comes in, where you can ask the right questions on, would you use it, by asking, what are your problems, and making sure you solve a problem. Does it make sense for the business? Because you also want to make money out of it, right? So you have to make sure that whatever you're building makes sense on getting your money back. A good example is the Alexa from Amazon. So the technology is incredible, right? You can be talking at the end of the room, it understands what you're saying, but Amazon is really having a trouble making money out of it. They thought it would be a personal assistant that would help you buy groceries, buy your things on Amazon, but it's not. People are using it to ask the weather, right? And you're not really making money out of asking the weather. So they're really struggling to have an ROI back from Alexa. Is it feasible? Can we build this technology? Do we and the AI even more? Do we have the data to build this? Do we have access to data? Are we allowed to take the data, right? This is the core beginning that a lot of people fail. They don't have the data, right? Another good example is Theranos. I don't know if you've seen the Elizabeth Holmes documentary, where she had the great idea to do blood tests with a single drop of blood. The idea was incredible. It would have been viable. The value was there, but it was not feasible. She could not make it, and she went too far and scammed people out of it, right? So you have to make sure that whatever you're building is feasible. And the last thing is it usable? Can people figure out how to use it, right? And again, very important. People think that UX designers are just there to make pretty interfaces. No, they're there to make it usable. There's a lot of examples of products that were so complicated to use. They had great technologies, but because it was so complicated to figure out, they're not using it. And remember, we're in the AI space here. AI is here to automate things. What does that mean? That means that whatever you're doing manually, now you can do much faster, so you have a lot of data. So in the usable part, what do you do if you have thousands and thousands of things to go through? How do you leverage? How do you make it work that the user is not overwhelmed by the quantity of data? Right? How do you turn that data into information? That's usability. Another thing, AI, that's very specific to AI. AI will never be 100% accurate, right? We know this. There is uncertainty. So so people will have to review there has to be a human in the loop. So review the results. So how do you make the usability experience, the user experience, so that you're going through all these results from the AI without being too tedious? Because if people are saying, well, it's too tedious to review all these results, might as well just delete them all and do it by hand, then your product has no value with the AI, right? So now that we know, we have a good idea, we have something that's valuable for the user, we know that it's viable for the business, how do how do we prioritize what we build first, right? And this is where the $100 test comes in, okay? So the $100 test comes in because if you ask the users, oh, what should we build? Do you think this is A a good idea? Is B a good idea? They'll say they want everything, right? So it's very hard to prioritize. So to prioritize, you give them a list, feature 1, feature 2, feature 3. I always leave an other category, and you say you have $100 to spend on all of these features. Where would you spend your money? And then it becomes a game, right? Usually users are really happy because A, it feels like a game. You're like on The Price is Right or whatever. But it also makes them think, hey, if I put more money on feature 1, that's going to help me, the feature is going to be more developed. And that's really important. This is where the money is at, right? If I go on feature 3, maybe, that's other priorities. So let's go back to our story where we had the AI assistant for Zoom summaries, right? Oh, sorry. These are examples of the type of money they could spend. So something that we had not thought about would be more important. So let's go here. So maybe the first feature would be smart action item extraction, right? So after a call, all the action items are extracted. The second one would be auto assignment and accountability. So it would automatically create Jira cards with the action items, and it would tag it to somebody. The other one would be reminders and follow-ups, right? So you would get emails if your task is not completed, and so on. So I want you to go in the chat and write 1, 2, 3, and even 4 with others if you have other, and spend your $100. How would you spend your $100? So in one prompt or one prompt, just write 1, 2, 3, 4 with your amount of money that you would spend. Don't be shy. Okay, tell me how much money you would spend. So like somebody's wrote 1 and 2. How much money would you spend on 1 and 2? Would you spend 50-50? Are they both as equally important? So we have here, we have $20 on smart extraction, auto assignment $30, and $10 on follow-up. We have 60-40, right? So here we're seeing how people are attributing monies. For some people, the follow-up and the task syncing is much more important. For others, it's just extracted the information, right? So this shows you that you have to think about what actually is important, and then you can see what's the most valuable thing for the user. So let's say you spend your money on number 1, then your problem is that clarity and time saving really matters. If you're spending your money on number 2, it means that accountability is the real pain point, right? And if you're using task and sync up follow-up, you know, they want to have a good integration and follow through, right? So again, this shows you that it helps you hone in on what you want to build first instead of trying to build everything at the same time. And this is because we want to go into, oops, sorry. Okay, this is because we want to go into an MVP mode, right? What does, has anybody heard MVP? What does MVP mean? Put it in the chat. Minimum viable product. Yes, right? So the minimum viable product is whatever we can build, the minimum we can build, right? That answers the minimum viability for your product. So the faster you build it, then you can get feedback from the users, right? That's the minimum viable product. It's also the most valuable player, I know. Has anybody heard of Sorry. Again, I'm not. Lesson learned, maybe not use a new interface next time. Oh, sorry. Has anybody heard of an MLP? If you know what MLP is, write it down. No? Minimum lovable product. Yes. Minimum lovable product. Excellent. I'm happy that I see other people know it. So this is a concept. Both concept work came out at around the same time, right? The first one was coined by in the Lean Startup book by Eric Ries, and the second was coined by Brian DeHaat from AHA in the book Lovability, right? So the minimum lovable product is something that goes beyond functionality, right? So what should I build that the user get excited about? What is it that you should build that so they're delighted by it, right? Because often you'll build something cool and yeah, it is cool, but I'm not loving. So the lovability part is also counting in not only the viable, the feasibility part of it, but also putting in the value and the UX usable experience that I was telling you about. Because remember, whatever first product that you're launching, be it you call it an MVP or MLP, this is the first thing that the user is going to see. This is where you want to capture their heart, right? So if they're not falling in love with the potential of it, you're kind of missing out. And it's kind of like the first impression. Just like if you go on a job interview, your impression matters. If you go there sloppy, you could be very good technically, but if you go there sloppy, you're not going to give a good impression. And this is exactly the same thing for your product. Sure, your MVP might be buggy, but if it's too buggy and it's too hard to grasp, you're not going to sell people on it, right? So the bottom line is ask the right questions, right? Don't ask, would you use this? Don't be silly in your question. Would you use this? People are going to say, yeah, I would probably buy it because people don't want to hurt your feelings. People are polite. They're not going to tell you what they really think. So ask them questions that are problem focused, right? Instead of solution focused. Evaluate the risks. You have to evaluate, is it valuable? Is it usable? Is it feasible? And is it viable? And if you want to prioritize, take the $100 test and prioritize. And you want to build an MLP, a minimum lovable product, and not just a minimum viable product. So always think about that. I gave you lots of resources during this session. I talked about the Mom Test by Rob Fitzpatrick, Inspired by Marty Kagan, the Lean Startup by Eric Ries, and Lovability by Brian DeHaa. Please go read them. These are great resources to learn more about product management. Because remember, hackathon are just about the code. They're about creating change. So don't build just something just to build something that people will love. And with that, I think I was able to put it in the right time. I hope you learned a thing or two. I forgot to share my LinkedIn page. Do follow me. I assure you, I'm very fun to follow. I post a lot, so go ahead and connect with me. And I'd be more than happy to take time for your questions or comments. Maybe you have other things to teach me as well.
Thank you, Jen. So I think we have like a couple of questions in the chat, and I'll just read them out for you.
Sure.
Also, for all the participants, I'm giving the unmute access, so you can unmute yourself and ask questions as well. Meanwhile, I see the chat.
Excellent. Maybe while we're waiting for people to ask their questions, somebody could share something they learned today. Okay, here we have a question from Anna. She says, when we build an MLP, how to balance out the tech difficulties versus the features that we think people will like? That's a really good question. Um, so often when we come from a technical background, we're so focused on the technology and we think the technology is so cool, right? So we focus all our energy on that. Don't forget, mockups go a long way. So how would it look like? You know, I created mockups using PowerPoint. There was no technology behind it. I was just showing, hey, this is how you would um, see all your AI results. This is how you would run them. This is how you would select a false positives, things like that. You can do a long way with just using mockups as well. And this is where you can get validation on what people think and what people would really like. I've done sessions where we wanted to work on better photo navigation, and we found out that, you know, all the cool features we were trying to sell or trying to get feedback on, people said that's not the problem. It's not your product is going too slow, right? Qatar, I don't know if I pronounced your name right. Very sorry if I didn't. Go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I think you tried. It's called Tara, but
Tara, okay, sorry.
yeah, no worries. Thank you very much for your presentation. It was really insightful. So my question is just like more of like clarity, especially when you were talking about like, the problem statements in terms of like question. So I just wanted to understand like, so if you're like creating a problem statement, should it be more like a question pinpoint of like what the potential user is facing? Is that how you create a problem statement rather than what you just think that, oh, it's a problem people are facing?
Good question. So you have to have a hunch on what a problem should be, right? So I don't think anybody went to see Steve Jobs and said, I need a touch screen because that's way cooler. Nobody said that. But he did see people trying to text. Maybe you're too young for this, but I remember when I was trying to text with only the digits and you had to press 3 times on whatever number to get the letter P, right? That was very painful. So BlackBerry came out with the actual alphabet key and keys, right? But the screen was so small and you don't want to get bigger, right? So it's also by observing people that you will see the pain point, right? And then you can ask questions. At Vooban, anytime we have new customers, new projects, all the team, the entire team, dev team, the QA team, the project managers, everybody goes out to see how people work. So we get to see their everyday life and we get to understand why it's so important to do certain things because we see how they work. So I'd say observation is very good, but definitely read the mom test book. It has lots of other insights on how to do it. I just briefly talked about it. The book is available, I think, on YouTube for free. It's very short. You can definitely get your hands on it.
Thank you.
Iris.
Hi. Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Hi, Jen. Thank you so much for the great presentation. This is very helpful. And I'm very interested in the point that you mentioned, like we want to actually understand their problem and not building like everything that they're looking for. So yeah, for that point, I was wondering, so um like how do we understand what like is there actually like actual pain point and validate that is a big problem that in like big enough for them to willing to pay for it. Is there any like strategy or like how should we like navigate the conversation like that?
Actually, that's an excellent question, and it's covered also in the mom test book. So because people say, yeah, sure, that's interesting, but is their mouth where the money is, right? So you need to be able to, this is where the Kickstarters, right, are a good example, right? So you show what you would be building, and you're saying, do you believe enough in it that you would be willing to invest in my idea for me to build it? There's different ways of seeing how they would do it. It depends if you're a startup, it depends if you're in a bigger company. I was at Bentley. We used to have EAP programs where users would get access to the product before it came out, but in compensation, we would, see them every 2 weeks or whatnot, that we would share the involvement, but they would have to also give us feedback on the product. Don't remember, time is also money. People don't have time. So if they're also willing to give you time to help you build a product, that's also a sign that they would be willing to pay for it, because you're solving a problem that's worth money and time for them, right?
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you. Yeah.
I see in the chat here, somebody says, I love the MLP. I love the $100 test. Great idea to get teams to come together and brainstorm. A good way to differentiate between needs and wants. Very good. We also have first impressions are important, but they take time to build. As product managers, how do we balance delivering something that's good enough now with adding more features in later phases? That's a really good question. Sometimes we're building things that we think is so important and it's not, right? So I was talking to somebody that told me they were building something, hardware, right? And the hardware, they thought it needed a record button, to record your voice. And the launch date was there. They didn't have time to make the record button, so they decided to just put the button there, and then they would update the firmware later on and have the recording. Well, they launched it, and everybody had told them it's so important to have the record button. It's so important, blah blah blah. They launched it with the record button existing, but not functioning, and no one complained. No one told them it wasn't working. Right? So sometimes you're better off launching some things that are coming up, but it's not there. I have the first generation iPod Touch that back then my boyfriend gave me, now my husband. And I remember it didn't have a camera, but it clearly had the spot because it had a different metal over it. So they still launched it without having all the functionality, but building the case so eventually it would, right? So I think it's very important. It's a hard balance, and this is where you have to make sure you're answering the minimum value proposition. If you're just focusing on technology and you're dealing with minimum technology, then it's where you have to have the minimum value proposition that's going to help your users. For my iPod Touch, did it matter that I didn't have a camera for the first generation? No, but I wanted to listen to music, right? So that was the first value proposition. I wanted to listen to music. Need to have specific idea of audience the pain point is being addressed for. Yes, so exactly. Other questions? Yes, Shreya.
Hi, Jen. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. It was quite insightful. I want to share one thing and then ask a question.
Sure.
Recently, I conducted a survey in the Canadian community only, asking whether people are willing to adopt AI in their life, everyday life, and the response was quite negative. So I'm asking, like, maybe the reason, maybe as the comments proceed, they said that the technology is new and it has not reached to a point that people can totally focus on it and adopt in their everyday life, or the lack of knowledge or fear of recently job being lost due to AI, and many reasons are there. So I wanted to know that how to motivate them so that at least in such a scenario, they are willing to look at the product, at least in which the fear is surrounding them, so that they are so fearful that they are not acknowledging the fact that it may be helpful for them in future.
Can I ask you exactly how you asked your question?
Yeah, I will just share you the whole question. It was like, how willing are you to adopt AI in your life if it is taught in a simple, interactive, and easy to understand way? Your feedback matters. Thanks for you. Thank you in advance.
The first thing, yeah. The first
The
thing is,
options.
oh, go ahead, sorry.
No. Yeah, I was just saying the options. It was very willing, somewhat willing, neutral, reluctant, not willing, and it got 54% for not willing. And there were some willing, not willing, neutral also, but the majority went for not willing. Maybe the question was not correct.
Well, first of all, I would say your question was very broad, right? You said, are you willing to use AI? What does AI
Yeah.
mean? If you ask every person here, what does AI mean? We're all gonna have different answers, right? Does it mean is it just all algorithm? Like, is it using computers? Is it deep learning? Is it LLMs? Is it chatbots? Is
Right.
it computer vision? Your question is
Mhm.
very broad, right? And then if you want to hone in on why, have you ever used it? Where did you use it? How did it go when you used it? What were you trying to accomplish? Are you fearful? If yes, what are you fearing? What are your trust issues with it? Is it losing jobs? Is it the data? Is it the security? What are the things you have heard on the news about AI? Right? Things like that. How do you have examples of where AI product were beneficial for you? Sometimes they're using it and they don't even know, right?
Yeah.
So try to get more into the details of it. AI
Yes.
is used for every sauce. The same thing with algorithm. I went to a conference and they said all algorithms are biased. And I was like, I don't know, a quick sort is not really biased, right? We have to be careful about the terms we use because they don't mean the same thing for everybody.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Hope it helps.
Yeah.
We have Norman that says we need to have specific idea of the audience and the pain point of is being addressed. Yes. And we are already all using it, but not everybody knows. I don't think my mom understands that she's already using AI. Right? It's in the background and we don't see it all the time. I don't know for the people that are hosting the event. I don't know if we have other questions. We have Chi or Chai
Just
here.
have one question. Yeah.
Okay. Canadian businesses are generally conservative in adopting AI. What do you think about this, and how can we build product that can break through that barrier? Very true. There is, for companies, there's the data sensitivity. AI learns from your data, and they wouldn't want whatever expertise and IP they have to be leaked through an algorithm that's going to learn. So there's a security issue. We are in the environment where the political and economics are a bit more, how should I say this, uncertain. So it is important for companies to be more productive and to invest in productivity, and that goes through AI. But again, it is, it is a bit scarier when you are in this environment that we are currently in, where we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah, I think these are some of the barriers. There's also, the ecology factoring in, right? It does cost, we don't really see it, but there is a footprint, a carbon footprint on using AI, and you have to think about how you're going to use it. So some companies might be worried about that. Again, lots of different reasons on why adopting AI might not be their first thing on their mind. I think we have to show them the value that it provides. Yeah, especially in this economy where we have to be more productive.
Yeah. Thanks for the answering the questions, Jen. I hope this wraps up the questions now. And I really love how everyone involved and came up with their questions. Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. And I really want to take a moment to appreciate for this such an insightful session. I'm sure everyone picked up the valuable takeaways, like the way you shared on how to evaluate and strengthen their ideas for the real world impact. So like we would really appreciate your time here and the depth you brought to today's discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for everybody for participating and doing in the chat and then through the emojis. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, you can stay up here so we can continue with the mentoring sessions now, like from 12:45 to 1:30.